Okay, I'm here.
Hey, Jane.
Hey, how are you feeling?
I feel like I'm swollen from like here to here
Oh,
and that it's just throbbing. Like certain words hurt and then I'm kind of fine. It's just weird. And the only way I can not cough is to continually drink. And so constantly like,
pee?
please don't pee. Please don't pee.
Don't make Rach laugh really hard. She might pee herself.
Hello and welcome to Table for Five with no reservations. Take a seat at the table for a fresh, sweet, salty, tart, and pleasantly bitter conversation. This episode is brought to you by Sensational You. As moms to autistic individuals, we here at the table know all too well the struggle to find clothes that work for our children. That is why we are excited to be teaming up with Sensational You. They are a new company that is here to make the fashion industry more inclusive because every child is unique and should be celebrated. Sensational You believes that clothing helps children to discover and express who they are as individuals and takes this one step further by meeting their functional needs as well. They have items like stimuli-reducing hoodies, sensory-friendly joggers, compression-lined tees, and much more. Everything is guaranteed to have no tags and flat seams. Perfect for our kids. Check them out at shopsensationalu.com and use code TABLEFOR5 for free shipping. Shopsensationalu.com and use code TABLEFOR5, all one word, for free shipping. Sensational You, because fashion is for all.
Hello, and thank you for taking a seat at the table. Today we are starting a new series called Life Hacks. We're kind of talking about our version of life hacks as the hot mess moms that we are. And first night, we're going to be talking about Momcation and how we can do girls' trips, getting away, whatnot. And we just happened to go on a trip. So that we'll be excited to talk about. Tonight at the table, I have Kimberly McIsaac.
Hello.
Tabitha Cabrera.
Hello.
Rachel Flanagan.
Hey, everyone.
Jen Dunn.
Hi.
And I am Jamie Ramos. So I think for us, going on vacation or leaving our kids in any way is very difficult. It's a lot different than I think parents with typical children or, obviously single people who don't have to worry about little humans. But it really affects things. It affects how we can travel, traveling with our spouse, who we can trust to watch our kids. We don't really have the kids that we can just take off for a week and leave them with a neighbor, babysitter, or even grandma. We'll talk about our trip. And I guess as an example of us trying to travel, we could talk about how we had to prepare for this trip in order to go. And then we can get into the actual trip. But first, let's talk about all the things we had to do to prep for this trip. Jen, do you want to start?
I'm laughing because I sent my sister-in-law a 1:35-second video on how to cook my daughter's eggs. I mean, there was
Which take 1:35 to cook, but
yeah. It's like Jamie said, I don't have a typical child, but Kim or Jamie, I'm sure it's different leaving your typical children opposed to leaving a child with special needs. There was list after list after list after video. My sister-in-law said, wow, her routine's really important. And I said, very important. So this is first, then this, just everything from how her chicken is cut, how her potatoes are cut, how her carrots are cut, to how you get her in the shower. I mean, just all of it was extensive. She only uses a certain fork to eat her mac and cheese with. A certain spatula has to be used to flip her potatoes. So there were constant little videos being sent to her prior to me leaving, plus a 2-page roundup recapping all of it. Pretty extensive to go away for a few days. Yeah.
What about you, Tabs?
Yeah, I think there's always a good amount of preparation that comes with like drop-offs and pickups and appointments. And then when you're gone, like Nixon threw up at his program. So then Nick had to leave to go pick him up early. And then you have to navigate picking up both kids and being off work and yada, yada. So there's like so much that goes on with trying to prepare for traveling and being stressed out about how it's going to go. And if you have one thing that happens, it turns into not a panic, but you like feel bad because the other person or the people who are watching your kids have to deal with all of the stuff,
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot. It is a lot, especially to manage multiple children, getting places and everything. So
What about you, Kimmy?
For me, it was a little different because my husband came with me too. So it wasn't like I was just leaving her with him. So my issue though is, and this is whether I leave Alyssa or all my other kids, I guess, is the type of job I have. I run a daycare. So I have to have everything situated at the daycare. It's like I'm leaving 3 families because I have the work stuff that all has to be figured out. And then I have the home stuff that has to be figured out. And then I have to find a way to pack in secret because my daughter's biggest trigger is a suitcase. If she sees a suitcase, she'll lose her goddamn mind. Like, I mean, the stuff will come right out of the suitcase. So it's like, you have to kind of like sneak pack. So you really can't do it to last minute, which is stressful because then you're doing everything at the last minute. Because Alyssa stays home in her own environment. I don't have to go over like Jen does the routine. They kind of already know her routine, but we have to figure out like who's comfortable getting her up in the morning. That was nobody wanted to do that. So we like let her stay home. We dropped her off at school the day that we left, but she had kind of been having a rough patch for a few weeks before the trip. So that was a little hard because I just didn't know how she was going to be. And then any tension or anything in the house that's happening in the house just can affect her. She's so sensitive to that. So then it's like, I have a lot of people in my house. So it's like, I worry about that. It's just that out of control feeling of being away from her. I mean, I don't really love being away from my kids at all because I'm just such a warrior. And my kids are older, but like there's other things to be worried about. They're out driving. You know what I mean? It's different types. It's almost more worrisome than when they're gonna just be in the house with somebody, or she gets upset if they're gonna be able to handle it or if they're gonna handle it the right way. I mean, I have confidence for the most part, but the fact that she was just having a hard time before we left wasn't helping it. And it was like making me second guess bringing my husband. I kind of felt maybe I should be having him stay. It's just a lot of extra stuff to think about. And I have a child who's nonverbal, so it's like I don't know how much she's going to understand about me leaving. I did kind of go over it with her, but I don't know exactly how much she takes in of that stuff. So it's like I don't know if she's going to be wondering where I am. I don't know if it's a good idea to call her because sometimes out of sight, out of mind is better, so it's like just like all these things that you kind of like are thinking about and trying to get situated, which I mean, I think it happens even when you have typical kids. It's hard to leave your kids.
Yeah.
You worry. It's always better for you to be there if there's ever an emergency or they get sick, and you have no way of predicting when these things could happen. But with her, it's a little bit more because I don't know, like, if she's going to be upset that we're not there, if she's going to miss us, or if she's not going to notice. I can't really talk to her about it. So it's so hard to, but then on the flip side, you have Jen, was handling a child being upset, understanding that her mother was leaving. So it's like, I'd rather not have to deal with the crying, let's be honest, but like, I don't want her being like, well, where are they? What happened to them? It's like, you can't gauge how that's gonna, and she's becoming more aware. So it changes year to year with her, 5 years ago to now, she's so different. She understands so much more. She's aware of so much more. So it's just more layers, I think, of stuff that you kind of have to navigate through.
Yeah, it's a lot. What about you, Rach? I know you didn't leave town. Rach, we all went to Rach, but she's still, to be with us, had to make many arrangements.
Yeah. For our listeners, I have this ultra husky voice because I'm allergic to all the tree parts. I want to let you know things are going fine. I sound like this and I can't do better. I'm sorry.
Sound dynamite.
Dynamite.
Little sexy.
A little sexy jazz voice in the spring. As you guys said, you came to Minnesota to me because I happen to live in the same place as Kate. So for me, my trip was different. I had one sort of arrangement set up for Celia, and right at the last minute that sort of fell through. So we were praying and hoping in the days before that we could work something out, and we did, because Celia can't be home with Billy. Her care is requiring both of us to do the job and to keep her safe and to keep things going. And so if I had been gone and Billy had been doing caretaking, it would be triggering to see him and not have access to me. And then to have me in and out as I was, because we had these things planned, it just would have been really hard. So for me, I did the same darn things. This is how you do the pills video. This is how we do the sleep mask video. Pack the bag like she's moving to Europe for a summer. And really, she went like 3.5 miles up the road to my dad's. It's hard for me to send Celie to respite or to any caregiver with a book of how-tos, because it's my house that sets the tone for the routine. And so when she's at respite, she could have mac and cheese, her color, her texture, her way, with a different spoon and a different bowl. And I could never get away with that garbage here. So for us, it's a little bit about the flexibility and then the person understanding what she looks like when she's about to come unhinged, not necessarily the things you do to keep her from coming unhinged. So we have it a little different. You can't really set her day up for success. You just have to ride the wave with her.
Well, one thing I was going to say is like with my kids, kind of what Kim was saying is that like we recognize the distress by what's happening. So like my daughter, if she's distressed, her sleep gets messed up. So like the first night I was gone, she didn't sleep that night that I was gone. You can't really predict or prepare for those type of situations that are coming because they can't communicate that they're upset that you're gone or whatever. And with Nixon, his rigidity goes up when he's stressed out. So things have to be a very specific way, you know, and if you can't make it happen, causes him even more distress. And
that's kind of why we had to have Celie cared for outside of our home, because it's just too many things changing to keep that rigid expectation happening, right?
Yeah. And then there's an aftermath too, you know, when you come home, then there's like the almost like concern about being dropped off places because they don't know if you're going to be back or whatever. Like we have a little bit of that, especially with Nora. You know, she'll hide underneath my shirt when we drop her off at her program, or like the other day she was clinging onto my leg the whole walk-in, like face in the thigh situation. So
for us, like we've never been able to travel together, me and my husband. Recently we did one trip where we both went. It was like quick. I went for 2 nights. My husband, it was like a work thing for him, so he stayed another night, and then I came right back. It was over a weekend, so I didn't like disrupt like the school schedule or anything like that. But for like trips like this where I was gone 4 nights, there's no way I could take my husband at this point. And my daughter's also 3, so like even though she's typical, I still can't like leave her anywhere at this age. So yeah, it's like prepping that way, but it's like my husband knows how to handle most things, so that's good. But Jesse's just started to realize with the trip before what me and my husband went on, when I got back from that, he was just like crying because he like clicked that I left and I was gone and we were both gone. And so he realized this trip when they were dropping me off the airport, he got very upset and was very upset with my husband, and that he dropped me off the airport and not Jesse. Jesse just wanted to go with me. I was like,
All Isaac's fault.
yeah. Like, you don't want to go on a boring mom trip. We're not going anywhere fun. And then I go ride a roller coaster, but whatever. But coming back, that's when I kind of like pay for it, because then he's clingy, and then that's when it really hits him and he's upset with me. And the first thing he said, because he's really big on using his emotion words, but he kept going, upset airport. So because he was upset, I got dropped off at the airport. So it's kind of like, you can't just go and come back. And I think all moms have that. Like I always do this at the last minute. I'm like, I'm not going to go. It's not worth it because I'm so worried.
Which one of us did not say that?
I pre-clean. And I think this is like any mom thing. Like you pre-clean the house for them to destroy the house if they're staying in your house or they're gone, but you also have everything set up. So like if my husband needs anything, it's like set up to go, except for apparently he couldn't find a video game, and I have no clue where that video game would ever be. But anyway, I still got texts. So let's talk a little bit about the trip. So we all went to Minnesota, Rachel's homeland.
My homeland.
Just have to say that I love you ladies so much. Just
same.
Surreal.
If
surreal.
You're a listener of ours and you feel like you can hear our hearts beating together, or you've listened so long that you know we may period cycle together, or that we laugh at the same time, or we finish each other's sentences, we each independently have enough insecurity. I know we seem like the strongest, or like just remarkable women, but we have some insecurity in these packages of ours. And I can say for myself, and maybe from some smiles through the whole trip, that all of us thought, like, are we going to be who we say we are? Are these women going to be as lovely? And I barely even said hi to Jamie because it was just so normal to be in a room with her. Like I was momming so hard, but it's like, we are exactly who we are. And to be able to stand shoulder to shoulder verklempt.
Well, I don't know. You're all very surprised how short I was. I mean,
I was not.
The discussion.
You were as short as I thought. You were skinnier then you make it
Skinnier.
sound like
Yes.
that's puffy.
That's what it was, yeah.
Jesus.
Yes, you're so damn skinny.
Oh, well, not right now, but thank you. I love you so
No,
much.
you
We
are.
call your bluff, you freaking liar.
Yeah, I saw you in person.
Yeah.
I know what that body's showing up as
Yeah.
at this point.
Well, like Rach said, there was like a time towards the end where like someone was like, oh, we need to take another picture together. And I was like, oh yeah, we're not like always actually together because we literally talk daily. So
Daily.
it just felt so comfortable. And I was really worried. I kept joking, like it felt like I'd been internet dating for the last like
Yeah.
year and a half, 2 years. How long have we known each other? 2 years. And that I was going to meet these ladies in real life and they were going to be like
Catfish.
completely different. Yeah.
Or yeah, or was it gonna be awkward? Were we gonna click into the same way? Were we gonna like mesh the same way we do on the computer that we will in person? So I think that was like, not really knowing how that was gonna go.
I
It's a
literally have a smile so big, I'm making my head throb right now.
So amazing.
It was
It
It was
amazing.
so amazing.
I
really
love
was.
you,
Rachel picked me up
ladies.
from the airport and her husband came. He was my baggage boy. She sent him to get my baggage. And so he let me sit in the front seat and she looked over and she's like, your feet don't even touch the floor. Like dangling in the seat. Yeah.
It was
It was
so
fun.
good. If you don't follow us on social and you're hearing about our trip for the first time, you should know that we had people arriving Friday and Saturday. We had things planned Saturday or Friday night, Saturday, all day.
Every second. of it.
Sunday. I mean, it was just cram packed, and there was time for a cocktail and a smile. And we got some table for 5 business done, but we had some enjoyment with this larger group that it's
we
just
met-
so remarkable.
Yeah, we met not just each other, but we met moms from all over the country.
and
Hundred
our
was one.
the other mom,
listeners.
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
We did a professional photo shoot, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So
That
much
was a
fun.
lot of fun. Hilda. It
Hilda.
changed her life. Yeah.
We ate a lot. So we got there, or me, Tabs, and Kimmy arrived on Thursday. I arrived really late on Thursday.
I
Rachel-
got here in 1983.
I picked her up from the airport.
Kimmy, and it was just so weird because she was like sitting in front of me, like her husband was driving and she was sitting in the passenger seat and I was right behind her and we were like just talking like normal. I was like, and Kimmy's like, this is so weird. We're like with each other. And I was like,
Yeah,
I
we
know,
were
but
talking
we're
like
still
I
not
picked her
looking
up
at each other.
all the time. Like it was like a
Let
normal.
me just give you a call.
This will be better.
Oh my
But
gosh.
then the Friday night when Jen got in, she got a very big welcome because she was the last one. There was
I
Oh my-
did. That was so awesome.
And Jen and I ran across the hotel lobby into each other's arms.
The front desk guy is like, who is this
What's going
chick?
on here? And same with Kim when she showed up. It was the same. I like ran into her arms.
Because I was checking in and then I'm like, I turned and I'm like, that's Tabitha. I could tell it was her from the back. And I'm like, yeah, that's Tabitha. So then I just like left.
I knew
I'm
it
like,
was
I gotta go.
because Kim plays with her hair a certain way. And there she goes. And I could see her. I was waiting. Rachel was parking her truck. And so I was waiting for her. And then I just got cold. So I went in, I went in to check in. But I knew that was Kim by how she was playing with her hair. It was wild. It was just wild too. And then it was
And Jen-
over.
Yeah.
It was so fast. Well, so Saturday morning we did our pictures. So we had a dinner. We went out with a friend, our friend Amy and our friend Bree. We went out for dinner, and then we were all trying to eat still okay. Well, most of us until Saturday morning. We did our pictures, and then we just went and feasted at some
I went
restaurant.
on
Yeah.
feed bag style.
We ordered so many carbs at that
Actually,
lunch.
to the point that when the photographer sent us the proof, she said, great meeting you ladies. She's like, I hope you ladies got your carbs.
Yes, she
know.
did.
There isn't a carb left to be found in Minnesota, lady.
Well, that's
Like,
not true. The other takeaway, if you're looking for a place to go and these carbs sound delicious, is that we in the Midwest have heaping scoops of things.
So many things.
Everybody was so enamored by the serving size. of this
Potatoes.
So I ordered a
Oh my
side
gosh.
of
Already
potatoes
Midwest
came on a friggin'
situation.
platter. Like literally a platter of mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
I
Mm.
ordered.
Even the breakfast was so good. Mm.
It was huge. I ordered a appetizer of onion rings, and it literally came in like a huge bowl. Like we couldn't eat through it.
Let's name these places because we have a lot of
Yeah,
Minnesota
I gotta say,
listeners.
We
went
started
to
at Cafe
yeah.
Cravings on Friday,
In
which is in
Woodbury.
Woodbury. They
Oh,
also,
I think we started with Woodbury Cafe, right? Was that our first?
Woodbury Cafe is for breakfast. Best hash
Delicious.
browns in the land.
Love that
Dippy
food.
eggs approved by Kimmy.
I
The
got an
Girl
omelet
Scout,
actually.
but I can attest to the dippy eggs. Okay, peeps. And also the hollandaise. It's damn good there. Then on Friday night, we went to Cafe Cravings, which
And I wasn't a fan of that. That did nothing for me, that meal. Nothing.
well, that's because you were eating on the diet because I had that 5-spice beef bourguignon.
Oh, and I also
Not
had
on
some of
the-
Rachel's and it was good.
It was
What did
damn
I-
good.
What did I eat there?
You guys were all pre-pictures.
We got the cheeseburger with no bun.
Oh, that's right. We're
Mine
still
was
eating.
raw.
The
Still,
Americano.
Mm.
still eating healthy.
Yeah.
See, that's your
Americano.
problem.
Yeah.
Is it the tavern?
So then we did the tavern right across
After
from the
our-
hotel. Yep.
After our photos.
Yep. I will say, like, if you came to this shindig and you're a listener of ours, I want you to understand that although that hotel was extraordinary and it met all of our needs, it did not show the Minnesota service heart.
No.
Well, oof, we are
I
in a
just
damn
told your tip
pandemic.
story earlier.
Oh my gosh, I wrote a tip on paper. I wrote a tip. Here's a tip for you.
I was happy with it.
So the one lady, just the
Oh.
one night when I asked for soup and she said, they don't
No
make soup
coffee.
tonight. I said, could I get a coffee? No, it's broken. And I'm not a waitress and I'm not walking down there to get it. Oh,
Oh,
okay. Oh yeah,
I
you
missed
missed that
this.
part. Oh yeah, that was fun. I was like,
was that Monday? Where was I?
It
Oh,
was
it's bad.
on.
it was Sunday night late. Yeah, it was late Sunday night. You weren't there. Yeah,
That's
you had already
true.
left.
It was
Yeah.
Sunday night. Yeah.
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 But you're right. And we were talking about this on our
Oh.
Zoom earlier. And I said, you know what? A lot of people, they're understaffed. And that's not the staff's fault. I found actually the people I dealt with were wonderful. Like the front desk people were always really nice.
Mhm.
I
Those
found the people
rooms-
at the restaurant were nice. They were just busy, which is not their fault that they're understaffed, you know?
Yeah.
That
It was
those
their fault the way
rooms.
they act, you know?
I thought the rooms were very nice at that hotel.
I didn't have any.
So we have
and
a
the-
shout out to the Sheridan of St. Paul and Woodbury. We also had a great experience at Kate's event from Finding Cooper's Voice.
Kate
We-
Swenson. Yeah.
Jamie
Oh my
Swenson can
gosh.
make a mean cocktail.
That's what I want to talk
Mhm.
about was like us. So we went there to see each other. And then we also Kate had 2 events, one at her home. And then we had a Mother's Day brunch on Sunday. But just like what your guys' overall feelings about being around all these women, some we had met online,
Mhm.
but just a lot of women who like get us, we could get, like, it was almost really weird. I was almost overwhelmed by
Yeah,
it.
I
We were
was
at
for
Kate's house and
sure.
Everyone showed up. I was like, this is really weird because like I know these people online kind of, some I just know
Right.
their names, some I just know their faces.
So what I thought
But it was
weird
awesome once you got
on the
comfortable.
Saturday was, and I talked about this, I didn't get starstruck by Kate because I felt like I knew her, right?
Same.
What I found interesting or odd or starstruckish was being in her home in the places that she films. I was like,
Yeah.
I know this fireplace. Ha, that's Cooper's cupboard of paper. Like all the things that she points out when she's filming. And I got more starstruck over Jamie. I mean, I couldn't get a word out. It was like, because I just felt like I knew Kate so much, but like you don't
Yeah.
see Jamie as much. And then when the kids came home, that was such a treat to meet the babies. I mean,
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, that was.
right. That part was like, huh, you know,
The first part of that, I was so anxious at that VIP
I-
event.
I was too. Like it was a lot. It was like very loud and very crowded and very hot. Like when we first got there. And then it was like for me, like I was like, I'm just gonna find a corner.
Yes, we all
And I
I
did.
was just worried
retreated.
someone was gonna spill that cranberry juice I was drinking with my vodka, and I'm like, just white freaking carpets. Whose idea was it to have cranberry juice? Nothing
white
was
carpets.
spilled. I
Kate,
want to be
what were you
clear,
thinking?
nothing spilled.
Well, I
But-
think I was anxious too about, we've been in COVID. Like I've met strangers. Going to events has been very limited as far as like being out in crowds and around people.
Yeah.
And I was just like anxious about talking to people. It wasn't anyone there that was making me anxious. It was just like a room of people that were like so excited. We all felt good to be there. It was just like I was like I couldn't sit still. I was like walking around and I'm like trying to get my bearings. I don't know. It was fun. It was fun. The food was good.
Yeah, it was
It-
awesome.
It was nice because it was smaller so we could talk to more people. Like I felt like at the brunch, there were so many people and it was so wicked fast. It felt like people were there that I would have liked to talk to that I didn't even like circle around to like say hi to, or, cause everything just went by in a blink of an eye. It felt like,
I feel the same way.
Those speakers at that brunch, Carrie Cariello and
Mm.
Jackie from Jordan's Shirt Project and Kate. I mean, there was not a dry eye in that place. Everyone was
Not only people were sobbing, like,
Yeah.
I mean, it was just
You can say it. It was
beautiful.
blubbering. I was blubbering.
It was
Right.
beautiful.
Yeah, it was really beautiful.
The venue was beautiful. the
Stillwater.
event was beautiful.
I
Yeah.
freaking love Stillwater
Yeah.
in Minnesota.
Stillwater's Missoula girl.
I would go back there
Mhm.
for sure.
Yep. I have to say, I had sort of a mixed thing. And I think in part, our care plan worked out because we were all safe in the end. But there was like some hitches in the giddy up throughout our weekend in terms of just worrying about Sealy and stuff. So I'm sure that played a role for me. But outside of that, I got to say, there's a couple of things that happened that just are like, it's complicated. It's complicated. So there's a couple of things, we are in the autism community. All of the parents or people that are there are in the autism community in one way or another. So you're a teacher, you're a para, you're a whatever parent. There was a couple of comments of people that were like, you're just so lucky she can speak. You really have it all kind of things said to me about, or like, how lucky is it that your daughter has autism? Girl, autism is so easy. I didn't punch anyone.
Too bad the three of us weren't around.
Oh my God.
We could have like
just like
clarified that really fast.
a couple of things. And, it makes me aware of how I speak to people. And I just think it was sort of startling to me that it happened there. And it's not a person's fault. It doesn't really matter, but it's just so hard to walk the line of respect and conversation and this and that, and like not have comparison within conversation, because you naturally want to relate to someone or you're naturally trying to connect. And I mean, it's just kind of devastating to have happen among people that are in those same shoes. So it's weird when the stuff that you hold so sacred is, I don't know. I mean, it's complicated.
I think that's where the anxiety comes from too, right? Like I found myself more than once. I said, I think I said, like, I'm sorry if this is weird, or I'm sorry if this is too like much. Like I was talking to somebody about some court stuff. I'm like, I'm an attorney, so this shouldn't be weird. But it might be coming off super weird because I'm a socially awkward person in this space. But I'm just going to clarify, if you think it's weird, that's fine. I don't know. I just kept finding myself saying, hey, sorry if I'm a weirdo, but here I am. And I might say weird things, and I'm sorry.
Yeah, here I am.
I think a lot of that,
I don't know.
A lot of that is like the isolation of our lives. Then in conjunction, you're like now in a room of 150 people and you're able to talk about the things that you don't often freely speak about. I mean, it's just a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I spent a lot of time at that cash bar getting those mimosas because that was a lineup. That's where I spent most of my time at that event.
That
Yes, I did. It was fun.
Yeah.
Well, and the bartender said he didn't think this would be like a good selling a lot of alcohol because it was moms and autism moms. So
you better brace
he
yourself.
He said that. He goes, I didn't think this was going to be a great
tip
sales
event.
day.
So he came to know me, but also in the beginning, so I left a tab open because I'm like, who wants to bring your credit card up every 5 minutes to the bar? I'm like, can I just start a tab? He's like, no problem. I forgot we had name tags on. And I came up and he's like, Jennifer Dunn. I'm like, how did, my name tag. And then he remembered after, and he was just fun. And he said the same thing. I don't know which one of you just said that, Kimmy, I think we're
Yeah, because we were standing together then.
Yeah. And he's like, I didn't think it would be this, this busy or whatever.
Yeah, you need
This
two
is not
bartenders.
Underestimate an autism mom.
Get two bartenders back there, sir.
Yeah, we need to speed up this
Get this
mimosa drip.
wine moving. We got.
But he was like, oh yeah, you don't like a lot of orange juice. I'm like, don't muck up that Prosecco. Just pour in a little drab. It's a little dibble.
Well, and the
I
other
want mine
thing-
to be light peach sparkles, please.
I think I know Jen spoke about this a little bit, but when I was flying home, like it hit me the gravity of the weekend
Mhm.
and how incredible it was to like be around each other and like all the support that you guys have given me over the past 2 years of my life and all the things that have happened. It hit me on the plane home.
Aw.
And I was like, oh my God, I'm in a plane full of crowded people. Like, please don't look at me. Luckily, I had a seat open next to me. You
Tab
know,
says I might be being weird right now. I'm not really sure, but you can
hey,
think it's
random
weird.
girl. Actually, I was already weird because I was sitting in the wrong seat. I was in her seat. We already had a weird exchange. So that was out the window. And I had been sitting in the airport for 5 hours because my flight was
Right.
delayed.
You know what? When I look back now and I see the pictures and, you know, the reels that you lovely ladies are putting together, is I was like, we were always together. And I think we were really good at including people and bringing people in, but there was people that were there by themselves that were kind of floating around. And it's like, hey, come on, we always have a seat at our table. It was just nice to have your people, like our people,
Yeah.
you know?
Mm.
It
I
wasn't
think
a
that one of the
question.
nicest parts was too, like when we finally did like the lunch, that was just the 5 of us. Like
Oh,
that
yeah.
was,
Yeah.
you know, it was just nice just to
It was
be,
the
because it was,
First time the 5
Yeah.
of us were together. Yeah. Just
Yeah.
the 5 of us.
which not that we didn't like being with the other people, like we did, but I feel like the more people you're around, the more it's louder, and you're kind of not, you're just not 100% yourself. You're still kind of,
Well,
you
you're
know,
pulled in
Guard.
other directions,
Well,
but like
and the nice
we
thing
sit
too-
here as a 5 constantly,
yeah.
so it's nice to. It was nice
But
to
it-
be able to like hold
but it
hands
was
while we were
fun.
sitting there.
One of the reasons why we picked that hotel was because it did have a lounge and a bar, which
Yeah.
I knew everyone you'd find people down there if you wanted.
Yeah.
But
and
like
there were just
the-
lots of people that like
Yeah.
that I would have liked to connect with, but like it just didn't happen
I
because
know.
it was just so busy and it went so
Yeah.
fast, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I didn't even really have a conversation with this person. Like I don't even
Same,
know how
Kimmy.
that,
Yeah.
you know, because these are all, a lot of these, not all of them, but a lot of these moms are not only in the Coops Troop support group, but we also are part of a blogging group. So we, you know, we've Zoomed with a lot of them. We, you
Yeah.
know, we're familiar with them, but yeah, I was just like, and I didn't realize until afterwards that I was like, oh, I didn't really talk to this person, or
I know. And
you
then
know.
people like have on posts have been like, oh, I was I was like, what? I didn't even know you were there at the
Same,
freaking
yeah.
event. Like, what the
Same.
heck? What the heck? But I think the thing, or what Kim was saying about the lunch, is that it was amazing that we had so much love around us the whole weekend.
Mhm.
And being able to talk to all these different moms and have all these big dinners, and you know, it didn't feel weird even with people outside of us. But I think the moment that we all were quietly together, I think all of us cried at that lunch because of
I mean, I'm
like,
not sure if we were crying about being together or the grilled cheese, onion rings, and French fries that were in
It's hard
front of
to
me.
tell.
I'm just gonna throw that
it's
out there.
hard to tell. It's hard to tell. But I think that lunch finally hit us like
Yes.
how special it was that we got the opportunity to be together, you know, for the
Like Rachel
weekend.
And
started
it was
to
like
crying.
it was like we had lunch once a week. You know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
it wasn't weird, and we were like swapping food, and you know, well, not Jen, but you know.
Yeah, I don't
but she
double
did.
dip. I was like, yeah.
Well,
She
but
would
Jen
put it on
did
our plate.
share her nachos with us, so I'm gonna
I did.
give her so
Oh
much
my
credit
God.
for that, because
I was so proud of Jen. She ate off a community plate.
I
she
saw
kept
her eat
telling
off a
me, take a
community
nacho,
plate.
and I'm like, I'm scared. I'm scared.
I
to
was
take a
too. Are you
nacho."
gonna stab me?
She freaking ate off a community
But you know what
plate.
else was really nice is that the tavern, which was
Being
in the same
hugged.
parking lot, it was nice. We're like, oh, we're gonna run over there and have a drink before we get ready. And the next we had 20 people at the table. They
Mhm.
put
Yeah.
2 more tables into the 4 table. I mean, it was just awesome. But then again, you talk to the 3 people next to you, and there's people at the end of the table that I didn't even realize were there until we
Yeah.
were leaving. I mean, my face was also in a Bloody Mary, and I didn't look up a whole lot because somebody ordered a big French fry for me. But it was like, you know, it just went by so quickly.
So
And
fast.
I literally could not say it enough. My heart was so full. I didn't realize how much I needed that.
Mhm.
I did not realize how much I needed that, or my daughter. My
Yeah.
daughter did phenomenal. And I literally
Love
almost
it.
did not come. Like literally didn't. She was
Oh, I didn't
sobbing.
think you were coming.
Yeah,
I
we-
did.
we-
I
were like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think any of
were
us even
afraid.
actually spoke about it, but all 4 of us were like, she's not.
She got on the plane.
She's at the airport. When you sent us the photo at the airport, we were like, thank God. She's at
like-
the
And then the second
airport."
flight, and then she landed and she still wanted to stay. I'm like, oh, praise God, let's get her in the car.
Yeah, let's
Get the little
going.
mini in the car.
Let's get going.
Is it weird? Not that we are Kate's living room at all, but isn't it kind of weird how some people are our listeners? And so then they walk up knowing tabs from a real life thing or like a thing,
Mhm.
but then they know all of us. And I'm like, hi, I'm not sure if I know you.
Yes.
I know
Oh,
that
you
happened
know
a
my
couple
daughter.
times.
I
Yeah.
only feel weird about it because I feel like a frick asshole when
But
I'm
you're
like,
like, I'm the one that all the whistles are for.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does. It makes
was
me
we-
feel bad when because
yes,
it's hard to, like, when you meet people on the internet, like you recognize them by name, or like they have a photo of their kid as their profile picture, or they have a private page or whatever, so you can't like if they aren't a blogger, or it's hard to like connect them with an in-person face. And I did
I
feel
kept doing like, what's your profile?
What's your
Well, we don't
circle?
always know who our listeners are. We only know the people that interact with us on our Facebook page.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
And that's only a small percent. So there's other people that listen that we don't necessarily know.
Mm.
There's not a thing that it's not like on Facebook where you see people's names all the
Mhm.
time,
Somebody
so
listed my daughter's diagnosis and I was like, you are right about that. How do what's your name? Like, where's your name tag? Because
Yeah.
you must have taken off your sweater.
Yeah. And other people, like we got to talk to Lauren, who was
Yes.
a podcast sponsor, and see all of her stuff in person. That was really cool. It was great to chat with her.
yeah.
I think overall, like, everyone should do a momcation.
Mhm.
I mean, even if it isn't to go meet your peeps, I think that there is benefit to allowing your kid the ability to be successful while you're away, even if it makes you leave notes and sweat the whole time. Like, it's just all of our kids did okay.
Yeah, my Alyssa did awesome. Like she was when we
Great.
got back, she was so happy. Like she was just, I'm like, oh, guess I'm gonna go away more often.
I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Well, and her mood like turned like the day before we left. So I was like, I hope this is like, this continues, but like I didn't know if it was going to. And then
Mhm.
when I chatted with my daughter, my younger daughter, she was like, yeah, she slept in your room last night. I'm like, oh, great.
You just
Mhm.
lost the last room of your house.
Feel like you might
That's
come
a-
home and have no bedroom. And I'm like, well, as long as she's happy, I'll deal
Yeah.
with it. But
Got a
yeah,
trip.
she did
I-
fine. So that was
I
great.
love hanging out with Bree and Rachel Lack too. We went and
Oh.
rode the roller coaster and went to the Mall of America, which, by the
We-
way, I do have to say, Mall of America, you're a little bit underwhelming.
Which all the Minnesota people did tell us. They're like,
Yeah,
it's
we
just a
did.
mall.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
really just feels like you're in a mall.
Well,
was
I got to
wonderful.
have my coffee that I hadn't had in a month because on this freaking diet that Jen has me on, I can, the
There's
carbs
no
in my
vanilla
coffee
swirl.
are higher than the carbs I'm allowed to have in a whole day. So I just can't have my coffee. So I did
And-
allow myself to have
Well,
my
you walked it
Dunkies.
off. You walked it off at the Mall
I
of
walked it off.
America.
Oh, yes, I did.
'Cause you
That's
have
all
to
you
walk-
do.
Yes, I did.
You have to walk 2 miles to the parking garage.
And then we got lost. We got lost. in it.
We did like a whole lap around the Mall of America to find the parking.
And
But
by
it
the
is-
time I got into the mall, they were already gone. So.
It is cool that you can ride a roller coaster in the middle of a mall. That
Yeah.
part I did like. We
Well, I
only made
walked
it.
by a Dunkin'
Well,
Donuts
I
in the
do-
airport and I thought of Kimmy. I'm like,
Yeah.
there it is.
I
There
got
it
the
is.
I got the coffee at the Dunkin' Donuts in the Mall of America. So I was like, that was the one thing I was looking forward to.
I got to have a little Kimmy and Neil moment the night. Let's see, what was that, Thursday night, Kimmy?
Thursday night. Yep. That was
And
the night we
we're
got there.
Oh
we
yeah.
are in the car driving around, and Neil says, "Is there a Dunkin' around here?" And maybe that's not how he said it. My voice is a little husky, but
Yeah, I think you
he's-
feel with the accent there.
maybe you could do it. Anyways,
Oh,
he's-
okay. Is there a Dunks around here?
They're done.
So I tried to bring him there, and all of a sudden we get there at like 9:02, and I'm like, dang it. I almost got the McIsaac's Dunkin' Donuts coffee.
Oh, it
It
was
was-
closed.
It was closed by like a couple moments. It was sad. I had to bring him
Yeah,
to Starbucks.
he had to set up a Starbucks. But better than that was the part that Rachel left out, was that my husband loves cars. He's really into old cars, and Rachel's dad has a few old cars. So he was enticed to Minnesota by the fact that he was going to get to see these cars. And Rachel brought the car to the hotel, and Neil got
Then
to
I let him drive
it.
it.
Yeah, it was a 55 Chevy, and he was, I mean, looking in the engine, all the things. He was, that made the whole trip worth it for him. He was just.
I'll tell you what, because we've already broken all the barriers. There's a couple of things about our husbands, or specifically Neil, because Kimmy's on the East Coast. She's the latest always. And
Yeah.
so we witness a lot of bedtime sit stuff over there at the East Coast. And so we've often seen Neil, scooting by in his undies. And I told him when I met him, like,
Boxers, they're boxes, people. They're boxers.
boxers. Seriously, they're boxers.
They're very manly
Boxers.
boxers.
They're very manly boxer
Very manly
shorts.
boxers.
He stumbles out of the room because he's already been sleeping for a couple hours. He gets up to go to the bathroom, and he's just like stumbling through the kitchen.
And every night we're like, hey, Neil. And he's like, hey, ladies.
Eh.
So when I saw him in clothes, I'm like, I don't know if I'm comfortable with this. But later I did
stripped
Kimmy's
down.
bangs for her picture
Right,
and
yeah.
a little braid. And there he was in his chonies, like Neil.
And everything was right
my
as rain.
friend. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, I think if you're considering your momcation, it can be done, people. Can
If
be
you
done.
think it's impossible, there may be a way, and
There
you
may-
might survive, and your kids might.
And you
And I
might
think
get,
your kids will do better than you think they will. Hopefully.
yes.
And if they
And
don't,
honestly, if this is
They'll
so
still be okay.
outside of the scope of possible for you, then take the long way home from the goddamn grocery store. Find a minute. Do a respite overnight. It doesn't have to include an airplane, but you need a goddamn break. I can tell
Yes.
you that if you're one of our listeners, you need a break. You need a freaking break.
You need a break.
And I want
Yeah.
to be clear, I did not think it would be successful. In years past, it's not worked out. I've received a million FaceTimes crying, this and that. I didn't get that this time.
Mhm.
I really didn't. My sister-in-law said she was so happy the whole time. She spent a lot of time at their house. She loves my brother, is her person. So she was so happy to be with Uncle Darcy. He actually texted me. He's like, what's your kid got against the Rolling Stones? I played 2 full albums of someone else. I threw on the Stones.
you.
And she said, turn it off, Uncle Darcy. I was like, what's your kid have against the Rolling Stones? She just did phenomenal. So I kept waiting for the fallout and waiting for the fallout and waiting for the fallout. And everyone's always said it's good to have that little tiny break. Apparently it's healthy. I've never done it.
Apparently.
Apparently it's healthy. I've never done it. I have to tell you, even though I was so gosh darn tired and I'm just
Oh my
recovering now,
God, yes.
I felt more refreshed than I felt. That saying your cup is full. I can't even explain the feeling that I had leaving there after being with you, amazing women. My heart was so full.
Same. Well, for one, with the sleep thing, I kept laughing because I had the blackout curtains in my room, and every day we ended up having to wake. There was no sleep in day, which
No.
kind of sucked, but I would wake up and it'd be in the dark, and it'd be before my alarm went off. And I'm like, okay, am my body just waking up because I'm used to waking up so many times a night, or is it morning? And every time it was morning, it was 6:30. I was like, oh, I slept all night. I didn't get up to do anything. It's shocking. But I was exhausted when I got home. I went to bed early every night this last week since we've been home.
I was really tired last week too.
Yeah.
exhausted.
But it was it's just so nice to have that break. And honestly, if you can do one night away at a hotel, if you can, and for us, it's still not possible for me and my husband to take a long trip away. I don't know if that will ever be possible, but that's okay. We just have to settle for going one at a time or doing a quick trip together. And for all of this, it went by so fast because we had to go quick. We can't go for a week-long thing, but you
Yeah.
do what you got to do.
It definitely was really good. I'm so glad we
Stay
did
tuned
it.
for our photos. We have some really cool stuff coming out. There
Oh,
may
yeah.
be one of them lifting me like little DiGiorno pizza guy.
Sure did.
We picked
We-
Jen up. I love that photo so much.
Well,
We
and
took
the-
these photos with the photographer,
I
you
think-
buy a set of 10. And we're already like, okay, how do we pay for more? Because it's like, we're never, it's
We
going
need
to
to-
probably be a long time till we're together again. So
I
we're
know. Just ask Hilda how much for the whole package, Hilda.
the whole thing.
And the crazy thing about Hilda that we didn't know, we didn't even say this yet, is that we booked her. Jen found her and booked her online. And then we show up to her house and Rachel starts up a conversation with her and her son.
Which
is
probably
autistic.
started with, I might be a little awkward here, but I wanted to let you know that.
Yeah, no, that's how I start conversations. You start conversations with, "Oh, I love your beautiful hair.
Yeah,
Where'd you
Rachel
get that
talks to
jacket?"
everyone. It's fine. She's helping the lady with her laundry. I mean, it's fine.
You
was
That lady was
working
in
at
a
the
damn crisis.
You're great at starting conversations, not the awkward one. But Hilda's son is autistic. And then
Yeah.
she happened to be our photographer, which is just like mind blowing in this.
You were
And
universe.
like,
we'll
what
link
are the
her-
chances? Well, 1 in 44,
One
actually.
in-
So-
My Uber driver on the way home had 2 neurodivergent children also. And he's like, and I'm pretty sure I'm 2. So it might just be Minnesota. Just kidding.
Minnesota has a really high population, actually. I think there's its diagnostics are accessible. If
Yeah.
you need
Mm.
it. It's
And
a-
people move there for services.
They sure
also.
do. I
People
want to say in an official capacity, Hilda Birdie Photography was our girl.
Oh,
and
yeah.
she is remarkable. So if you're planning your extraordinary getaway to Minnesota, and you may want to, because it
In
seems
Woodbury.
as though Kate might be doing this every year.
Yes.
Yes. Hilda Birdie Photography was really, really fantastic.
And,
And we'll
the
link
funny
her.
thing is too, I wanted to say is, so we were actually planning this trip for a really long time. We've
Yeah.
been talking about this
Mhm.
for almost a year. Like before it was going to even be a really big event. We didn't know that just probably happened in like the past 3 maybe months, 3 to 4 months maybe. So yeah, so we talked about it for so long. Like I just almost felt like it was never actually going to happen.
But then
was
suddenly
just
we
like-
were in each other's arms.
And then we
Oh
got
my
to
God,
meet
I
each
got to
other
hug
and
the
then all these other
people.
moms too. So it was
Something's
really,
gonna
really
go
cool.
wrong and someone's not gonna make it. And then we
Oh,
all
yeah.
got except for Jen and we're like, oh Jen.
Well, yeah, like Tabitha had a thing, and then
My kids were sick
Kaya
the week
and
before.
then Rachel's
yeah.
childcare was canceled. It was
Oh,
like,
I'm like, you're going to be in my yard, but I'm not going to be able to visit.
yeah.
My kids got sick the week before, so I was
Yeah.
like popping emergency and all this crap.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Even though there's carbs in there.
I had to be there, carbs or not.
Yeah. One of the really remarkable things, and this isn't necessarily super fair, and it's also not also a momcation thing, but one of the things that happened on you guys' trip is that you got to meet my daughter.
Oh yeah, Celie Flanagan.
And
it
I
was
had
like
lunch.
meeting a
She liked
celebrity.
me a little bit.
Oh my God.
It was like
You know,
weird. I will say being with Celie was almost weird, like the weirdest thing.
More
So I was
weird.
like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
she's here in person. Like the rest of you I'm talking to all the time. I don't
Yeah.
we chat with Celia here and there, but I was like,
Plus she had
like
clothes on.
across from me at the table. Like I didn't even know.
She
what
had
to say.
clothes on.
Yeah.
She was smaller than I mean, she is tiny. Tiny,
That's what
tiny.
she said about
tiny.
you.
Yeah.
She said about you.
I'll say all the kids, Kate's kids and Celie. It's just the
Yeah.
way you see them on the screen. They seem so grand. I'm like, oh, you're little children.
Yeah.
Not that I see
Yeah.
them as adults, but they seem so much bigger.
She
was.
just like lit up for you guys. And we have such a bond with each other's kids. And that's been such a gift to do like over the shoulder with each of your children. But to have her hug my friends, oh God, like just
It was great. She did great
was
at breakfast. Then we had lunch with her in Stillwater.
Oh my gosh, we went to lunch at a bar and she did great.
Yeah.
she-
I was overwhelmed by the bar.
It was loud. It was really loud. in
Drunk
that
people.
we
over
kept,
here.
yeah, we had to keep taking a walk about it. And I did leave with her on my shoulders without saying goodbye, but it was successful.
Yeah.
place. She did
It's
great.
amazing.
So fun. So fun.
Yeah. And we
So-
did reels with Samira and Renee and
We
My
planned
cousin
to
had a great idea. She
I
said it'd
did.
be a
They did that without me. They also did a live without me.
we did
They
Bean
did all the things
Bean
without
Boozled.
me.
we forgot to do all the things we were going to do, like reels and actual videos together and lives.
There literally was no time. We
No.
were never really alone, other than like Tab said, that one
Mhm.
kind of meal. But my cousin said something last night. She said, "Oh, are you guys doing that next year?" I said, "Well, you know, the plan is that she'll have this event every year." And she's like, "If she doesn't, she's like, you guys should go to each other city once a year, like spread it out and go." I'm like, "That's a great idea, actually."
Yeah. Yeah.
Next year's gonna be rough for me because I'm trying to go to Europe for my brother's wedding, but I'm going to try.
Well, we can come to Denver.
I
We'll
guess
just
I'll
make our way to Denver. Yeah,
Denver
we'll make
could
it
be the next stop, James.
Jen and Rach will love it here. I'm not gonna say why, but there's a
And
lot
in
of fun stuff
Vancouver,
to
it's fine. I
do.
That's
but
gonna be
Hey,
across two
I
time
love
zones.
Colorado. Let's freaking
Yes.
go. Let's
let's
to
go.
Colorado.
Okay, come to
Yeah.
Colorado. We can
Yeah.
go to Breckenridge or we can stay down here. We can do whatever. I don't know if you guys do high altitude.
Whatever. I'll do
I'll
it
do
all.
hi-
Sign me
anything.
up. Sign me up.
I wish you had more of a voice, Rach, when you said
I
that.
just want to meet Isaac.
Yeah.
Oh, Isaac will cook you guys. Oh, I don't know if Jen wants Isaac to cook a Mexican meal, but he will show us the nicest Mexican restaurant.
I'll
What do you
eat his
mean? I
cooking.
want it.
I've
Listen,
seen
they
him
I know
would
you
all
don't
get
love
off the
eating at
table.
other people's houses. I don't know how you feel about that.
No, I'd be fine with him cooking. He's clean. It wouldn't bother me at all. Yeah, no, I'd be
Yeah, he's
like, get
cleaner than me. He's
No,
the
we
cook
cleaner.
up that stuff, Isaac.
Approved.
Let's
we
have
can
at
meet
her.
we can meet the kids. It's in the books, people. Going to
All right.
Colorado. We just nailed it down right now.
That's the next one, Colorado. I like that.
All right. So thank you guys for listening to our trip. I hope you liked this. If you were there, we had so much fun with everyone was there, and
Yes.
we'll do it again. And maybe one day, if this podcast takes off, we can do some table for 5 getaways. That would be awesome.
So fun.
And maybe we should shout out some of our listeners that we met in person. So we got to meet Trina, and
Tina.
Julia from
Oh,
Julia
yeah.
Jessa,
Renee.
Rachel Lack,
Renee.
Renee.
Robin, Samira,
I was to say Robin.
Kristen, so many
Yes,
more.
she was so lovely. So
Oh,
fun.
Kristen.
We had
Yes.
so much fun with her doing the Tabitha had the best game. I don't know if you guys watched it, but those beans were disgusting.
New to the internet.
Kimmy wasn't there for that, and we knew to be pissed. But then we're sitting halfway through, and I go, "Kimmy,
I
would
was on the
never do
plane.
this."
I got a notification. I'm like, wait, they're live? What? But I got
We
it at the
get a
very end of
text
the
that
video.
says,
Otherwise,
then
I
she-
would have.
"Is live
comment-
without me."
And we were like, I apologize right away. But then we were like saying, like, Kimmy would never do this. And then when she watches the live later, she comments, I would never do that. Eat the nasty.
Listen,
I'm like,
I'll
you
tell you,
are forgetting someone.
I had
It
a
was
stink bug jelly bean that was
disgusting.
way worse than
But then
driving
I
a
was like,
55.
actually, I'm not sad because it didn't look that fun.
It was
go-
disgusting. Those
Go
things-
on our page and look for that live. It was pretty funny. And also we did a reel. It's under our friend Samira's account. Her name's Samira Stella on Instagram. So we wanted to do one to that Shania Twain song. What's it called? Let's Go Girls is how
Let's
it's
go, girls.
Yeah.
but so
Man.
we're all in this
Man.
elevator and we
Man.
accidentally go the wrong floor. The doors open and it's just a
Who
group of
who videotaped that?
we
We'll
propped
put-
it up.
We
This is
did
the
the timer.
So we get in the elevator, we prop up the phone, and then the elevator takes off. We end up on the 5th floor. The elevator opens to this dude standing there, and he's like, and we're like, sorry, there's no. We go back down. The phone had just been sitting there recording with my phone next to it, playing the song. And I'm like, if anyone walked past here, they're going to be like,
His
what
face
the heck?
was like this.
Like, what is this?
We were
Don't
crammed in the
ladies,
elevator.
I
I don't
know,
wanna
and we
get
had this
in.
big plan. We were gonna make all these reels and take all these videos. We didn't do none of it.
No, we
Next
didn't.
time in Colorado, folks. We'll.
Get ready.
All
Pine
right,
tree.
we'll get off because we're going on it. But it was awesome.
Yay.
Yes, and
It
you
was
should
awesome.
go to Kate's event next year because you
Oh,
will not. It will not
go.
disappoint. That's for sure.
Mhm.
That's for
We'll
sure.
cry. You might get to see Jen with 3 mimosas at once. All right, everyone, have a great Monday or whatever day you're listening to this. And we'll see you next time with episode 2 of Life Hacks. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us at the table for the first episode of our 11th series, Life Hacks. If you are enjoying the podcast, please make sure to subscribe and rate and review us. Make sure you're following us on Facebook and Instagram. If you'd like to contact us, you can at tablefor5podcast@gmail.com. New episodes every Monday. Make sure you join us next week as we chat about interior design and the lack thereof in our homes. We'll see you there. Bye.